All right, Kramer, futures market. What do you like? It seems like you're on the under 9.5 wins. Are you predicting they miss the playoffs?
No, but Jordan Love will not win the MVP.
Okay.
Minus 3,200.
Is that what the price is?
That was the circa price. We were just out there.
Jordan Love, no MVP, minus 3,200. All right. Anything else jumping out at you?
How is he the fifth favorite to win the MVP?
Well,
Sean?
because to your point, Ryan,
He's got shorter odds than Jalen Hurts, Sean.
Well, to your point, people, I mean, they're expecting him to pick up where he left off. He ended the season very strong. And as we know, the
Unreal.
MVP comes from the number 1 seed. So if you think the Packers have a decent shot to get the number 1 seed, there might be some value in instead just betting on Jordan Love MVP. I'm guessing to me, it's probably got too much heat, too much cooking.
Too much heat.
For me.
And to my earlier point, division price for the Packers, anywhere from 200 to maybe even some 225s out there. Number 1 seed market has them listed at 9-10 to 1. And so I think if you're looking at the ceiling, it seems like you have to include a piece of that. But no, I'm not interested in anything positive.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I want to miss the playoffs though.
Okay.
Because the more like as we dove into the NFC, I really do think there's a decent shot that we could once again be looking at a 9-win, maybe even an 8-win playoff team.
Well, what's the make playoffs price? It's like minus 160. They're favored,
Like
right?
minus 155 to 60.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a pretty heavy favorite. So I don't know if I feel strongly enough that Jordan Love will completely suck. And to the points that have been made here, he should be like his floor should be decent. The team's floor, more importantly, should be decent because of the coach. And so, yeah, I don't think I want to fade it. And plus, I don't want to take the short plus odds on the missed playoffs.
So yeah, I'll take over 9.5 wins, make playoffs minus 160.
Wow.
We talked about Josh Jacobs. I know there's some efficiency concerns, but I think a lot of that was he was a year off of, I think a lot of it may have just been him dealing with that injury, et cetera. I think the Packers knew what they were doing and bringing Jacobs over here. I still think he's got like a couple good years left, and Matt LaFleur isn't afraid to have a workhorse. Josh Jacobs, most rushing yards in the NFC North, plus 250. I like that.
Who are you competing against there? Swift.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones.
No, thank you.
Or one of the backs in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the backs in Detroit splitting, I think to me creates some value. Where I think Marshawn Lloyd's interesting for deep fantasy stuff, etc. But I think
it's a fun angle.
I think Josh Jacobs is going to be a workhorse for Matt LaFleur, and we there's definitely some correlation between the running back success and Jordan Love's success. So I think they're going to want to pound the rock with him. I will also throw in. Now, big Luke Musgrave fan.
Oh boy.
This is, I mean, I almost want to put a warning on this one. Luke Musgrave, most receiving touchdowns in the NFL, 200 to 1.
That's
you're talking.
That's a number.
Let's go.
All right. Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Clearly they spent a lot of draft capital on him. Now Tucker Kraft is interesting, certainly, but he was dealing with that pec, and he's back at practice. I know, I follow the league, but I think Luke Musgrave is ahead enough that he is going to be the go-to guy in the red zone when it comes to the tight end. And we mentioned it with the pass catchers. There are so many talented receivers on this roster. They might kind of take away from each other, but I think Luke Musgrave establishing himself as the dog, as the go-to guy, is very plausible. So you look at the Green Bay Packers. Well, if you go back to 2020, there was a guy by the name of Robert Tonyan. No one saw him catching 11 touchdowns.
Big Bob Tonyan.
Big Bob Tonyan. I think Luke Musgrave could be a guy that kind of shocks the world. I really like it more for the division. That price isn't out yet, but I'll take a small sprinkle of 200 to 1 most receiving touchdowns in the NFL because him getting to 12 we saw Sam Laporta have 10 last year. You only needed 13 last year to press to chop the pot for most receiving touchdowns. I think Musgrave has a high ceiling in this offense with his athletic profile. What are you laughing at, Ryan? It's 200 to 1.
Your use of athletic profile.
He's an athletic dude.
Yeah,
he's in the NFL.
No, I know. It's just
he's in the NFL.
Great use of athletic profile.
All right, Dick. What do you got? What are some future bets you like here?
So I do love me some Luke Musgrave. As you mentioned, Tucker Kraft being another seemingly great hit for tight end that we made last year. That does enter into the equation. And also just, I mean, we've got at this point, we've got more receivers that like we've mentioned Reed, Dobbs, Watson, Wicks, Heath, Melton, DeBose at this point. Like we've got more receivers than McCarthy has, I don't know, takeout menus saved at his home.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like,
that's just shaming.
I thought you're going to do like more chins in a Chinese phone book or whatever that the old joke is.
But yeah, so it's just, there's so much love last year, spread the ball around so much. Like we didn't have a 100-yard receiver until A, notably Aaron Jones came back. And then B, it was Bo Melton, who was off the practice squad that week where he got 100+ yards. And that was week, like, I don't know, 9, 10, something like that. We hadn't had a single one. So like he's spreading it to all the guys. So it's tricky picking one guy. I do think for like season-long fantasy, you know, in like deep wide receiver things, like any given guy could be a good, you know, could go off any given week, but you wouldn't want them to be your number one thing because it's not reliable which guy will get that piece of the pie, you know, consistently. I like your Josh Jacobs call, especially in the division, just because of how the running backs are split up. I do think Detroit has a phenomenal run game, but like you pointed out, they're going to be splitting it. And the Vikings last year had literally, Aaron Jones is phenomenal. They had no run game whatsoever last year. I don't think it's going to get any better, especially if they're having problems at quarterback. So I do think that is a very interesting bet. I'll have to like tail that one. Of course, so I don't think making playoffs is worth the bet at -155 or -160, especially because like win the North is around, like I saw it on DK today at +225. So I think I'd rather get that value and bet like, because if you're going upside, I just think it makes more sense to take the +225. And it's like, all right, okay, will we do better than the Lions?
I wonder what their price is to just get the wild card. That seems like
the
an
exact market.
Yeah, I had discovered that market and it's slipped away from me, but that might be an interesting play because like to me if they're beating the Lions, I'm back to the number 1 seed market.
So do you go as high as number 1 seed? I got you down for the division. Are you tossing in conference? How hard of a dick are you punching here?
Yeah, so I actually would like winning the conference more than I'd like getting the 1 seed in the regular season. Because again, I think the NFC North is like, it's going to be tough. The Lions will be tough. I think the Bears do have all these pieces. Now, granted, they're the Bears. They're losers. They do have a lot of pieces, right? Like, I mean, they got Roma Dunze, right? They got Keenan Allen. They got all these DJ Moore. They got all these guys, right? Swift, like, but you know, they're going to find, and Caleb Williams, like, they're going to find a way to screw it up. They're the Bears. But it will be tough. It will, you know, we will be the black and blue division this year. We will beat each other up. So like, I don't know about the 1 seed. I actually like winning the NFC conference more than I like. Yeah.
Are you playing your buddy Jordan Love MVP?
Yes, I would do that because I do think, again, once he gets a running back, he was Pro Football Focus number 1 quarterback the rest of the season. Will he do that again? You know.
Well, and he did. I mean, he threw for what, 31, 32 passing touchdowns last year. Like,
yeah. I think it was more than that. Got it written down.
He's got what it takes.
37.
I
think he was number 2. I think it was only Dak ahead of him in total number of.
No, sorry, 32. I double checked it.
Sean,
was it?
Yes.
Oh,
are you sure?
I'm looking at.
We don't want to slander Jordan Love.
Maybe it's. Maybe
it's probably
included rushing.
Yeah, you're probably including postseason.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it is.
That's okay. So he did throw 37. 5 were in the postseason. I will toss this one out, and this one might hurt a little, Dick. But Christian Watson lower 750.5 receiving yards. I think this.
Wow, he fixed it though. He went to Germany. He got the A-Rod injections.
He went to the University of Wisconsin. Did you hear about that?
No.
They said
That's not Germany.
They said like apparently the problem is like one of his legs was like 20% longer, or not longer, stronger, like 20%, legitimately stronger than the other leg. Yeah, I don't know. Probably because he keeps freaking injuring the one leg over and over again. I don't know, but like, so they got to.
Yeah, it's weighing him down. So I mean, you look at both. He's going into his third year. 611 his first year. That's with 14 full games. 422 last year. The guy just has trouble staying on the field. I think if he does play, he certainly has upside in the touchdown market because he got 5 touchdowns on 28 catches. That's a crazy percentage. 7 touchdowns and 41 catches his first year, where he was really had some electric plays. I just think to get over that receiving yards with the competition in the receiver position, obviously no competition from the tight ends. It's going to be all Luke Musgrave, but I just think it's going to be tough for him. It's an uphill battle. I like my chances at lower 750.5 because it would be a career record for him. I just think he's got a lot working against him here.
What was the price on Jacobs for your divisional?
Plus 250
yardage.
Yes.
What if he has a really good year?
Okay.
Offensive player of the year, 120 to 1. Can he get there? Because it's tied to what I would. The Packers to score a rushing touchdown in every game. I know this is a tremendous sucker bet. They did not score a rushing touchdown in 8 games last year, Sean.
Yeah. Again, Aaron Jones wasn't in a lot of those.
It's exactly. That's my point. It's 100 to 1.
See, I would rather for offensive player of the year. I think I don't know. I feel like it's going to come from the receiver position.
Probably. It would need to be like a 20 touchdown. Could Josh Jacobs score 20 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean him to lead. I would like Josh Jacobs' most rushing touchdowns. I think it's 20 to 1. I'll toss that in there.
Wouldn't you rather have 120 to 1?
Nah. No, I'm not going to do it. You trap me. Do you?
I will say they're a more fun team to discuss from a fantasy perspective because it's like which receivers do you like? I mean, if you're betting touchdown props, it does seem like Jaden Reed is like this toy they like to use around the red zone. But yeah, they have so many targets. It's like they do have a ton of riches, which either is a good thing or a bad thing. You can't start 6 receivers or 7 or however many that you have, however many number 2s you have, and there's no fun long shot bets. Then that's what I like to do. And the last 2 teams have been a little disappointing.
What about your underdog season long high or low, Ryan? What do you got for the audience?
Hold on, let me pull it. I was underdog may have been causing our stream to break, so we're not happy with them right now. Again, you can have the conversation about the fantasy stuff a little easier with the Packers because you got all these options. And to me, the Jaden Reed touchdown angle is the one. I'll say something nice about this team. I do think that when certain coaches, like very clearly when you listen to the way they talk about Jaden Reed, I know I've seen the stuff about Romeo, your guy, Sean, and how like he's still very much in the mix, but Jaden Reed around in the red zone led this team in red zone opportunities. That would not surprise me. So I'll just take the higher 4.5 receiving touchdowns. I do think this offense is going to be good. Like it's hard to make a case for the offense being horrible. And so yeah, Jaden Reed not scoring 5 touchdowns seems unlikely.
Mr. Puncher, any other final plays you like before we wrap things up?
I actually agree with you on the Christian Watson. That, like I said, it's so many mouths to feed in the receiving game, and then you add in Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, and it's a lot. So I do think that it's going to get spread out a ton. I think we are going to be an amazing passing off. I think I saw let's see, what's his Jordan Love. I think to get over 3.9K passing yards was plus money. It was like just barely plus money. I like that he threw for solidly over 4,000 last year, which by the way is more than any Bears quarterback has ever done.
I was gonna say his underdog is 39.50.5 passing yards. So it sounds like you like higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, again, he did it last year without a running back for most of it. Christian Watson was out for most of it. Like, and this is now going to be his second year as a starter. Most of these receivers, their second year, like this is going to be a huge. Like, to me, it's crazy that you wouldn't think like the obvious things, like a receiver taking a step their second year, a starting quarterback their second. Like, to think that it will. Like, I understand the regression point. But like I don't see how you cannot think they're going to do well on offense.
I completely agree with the receiver angle. I think the data says receivers definitely take a step forward in their second year. If a receiver is going to be good, they generally take a step forward in their second year. With the quarterback though, I would say that, and Sean, I think agrees with me on this point. Generally that second year is interesting because you have the tape factor and you have the league adjusting to you factor. And so, while he could take a step forward and still take a step back, if that makes sense, because the league is now, they're making their chess moves to adjust on what they thought Jordan Love was. And
right. But if you're doing that from the second half of the year, right? Like, because the second half of the year with the 20 plus touchdowns and 1 interception, you take a step back. Okay. Like that's still phenomenal,
Oh, of course. I mean, if you want to shrink, if you want to look at it like that, yeah, I think. But if you look at it just in the context of he goes back to being a little erratic with the ball, they find a way to confuse him, whatever it may be. Yeah, it's. But like I said earlier, it's hard to see the floor being too low because the running the structure of the offense and how it probably doesn't rely on Jordan Love as much as I would hope. Because that would create a better cratering opportunity. Who's the backup in Green Bay?
So there's that's actually interesting. I thought for sure it was going to be Sean Clifford. It's did
Pratt, right?
Well, as of now, it still seems like it's Clifford, and he did well in the preseason game this weekend. But then Pratt came in, and he had a couple really great throws, like really good. It's to the point where, I don't know. Clifford's going to be kept awake at night by Pratt is legitimately chasing him down. So I don't know, but I think both of them are decent.
Yeah, no, Pratt's a gamer. We watched it in college. He definitely made us some money. He's just one of those guys that will run through a wall.
All right, let's take a look at our best bets and then maybe Mr. Puncher take us out. So,
which by the way, I also want to tease in a future. I think next episode. So whatever we will. There's gonna be a new drop on the show.
Really?
DikPuncher said something. He probably is going to go back and be like, "Damn, I didn't realize I said it in the moment." But it will turn into a. Yeah, we'll tease it, but it's going to be fucking hilarious. Sean,
yes,
this is the driest spell of team previews. This is now a second team preview in a row where I only have two bets.
Yeah.
One is a
minus 3,200.
One is a paper ticket though.
You're embarrassing the audience.
Yeah.
Kramer coming in at 9-8. I'm 10-7. DikPuncher 12-5. He likes the Jordan Love higher 39.50.5 passing yards. I like the Christian Watson
Sean,
lower 70.50.5 receiving yards. Jaden Reed higher 4.5 receiving touchdowns. Well, the Musgrave stuff.
Will you be betting Musgrave first touchdown to open the season again in Brazil?
No, of course not.
What do you mean? That you won't make your card?
No, 100% not. I'm not betting. I'm never going to bet against the Eagles.
No.
Are you new to the show?
In the first touchdown market.
Yeah.
He almost got that one in the first game last year with the same leak play that we were talking about earlier against the Cowboys. He just fell over.
Yeah, I love it. He's 100% healthy. He's going to take the league by storm.